Okay, so now we're going to look at moving away and stopping. So this is the first time we're going to move the car. How scary and exciting. Right, so we're going to have a go at that, okay. So most people worry about a few things when they start to learn to drive, and they tend to be crashing and stalling. Okay, let's deal with crashing. Crashing is not going to happen, okay. One, when you're doing this, you're not going to be going fast enough, and your instructor's not going to take you into an environment that's going to allow you to crash when you are driving. They're going to control that environment by taking you to places that are suitable for your ability, okay, hopefully. So crashing shouldn't happen. If crashing does happen, I would say it's the instructor's fault or a third party's fault. In other words, you stopped at a traffic light and some wally hit you up the boot, as it were. So don't worry about crashing, because if you do, then you may make a mistake that could contribute to that, but your instructor is there to keep you safe, which is why you should always take your first lessons with an instructor, not a member of the family or someone like that. Okay, stalling. So what? I'm going to talk about stalling when I talk you through this, but stalling really isn't going to be an issue, because again, your instructor is going to take you to an environment that if we were to stall, or you were to stall, it wouldn't be a problem. And again, if you do stall, you could put that down to your instructor as well to a certain degree for not telling you what to do, not giving you the detail, or not making sure you're doing the correct thing. So stalling isn't a major issue, and the reason you could stall would be several fold really, but it could be you leave the handbrake on and of course that's going to stop the car going. You could be in the wrong gear, that would make you stall, not setting quite enough gas power. You know, you don't want loads, but you want enough to pull the car away, particularly because most roads have got a little slope, and when you pull away you've got a slight slope to get out of the gutter really. There's slope, so the water goes in the gutter, so it disappears down the drains. And it could be your clutch, and this is what most people worry about, isn't it, the clutch. Basically, when you put the handbrake down, if you just move your clutch foot the width of a coin, which is sort of that much, you know, the thickness of a pound coin, not the width, I always say that, I don't mean that, the thickness, you know, the thin bit, you won't stall, I can trust me on that. If you just lift it that amount, the car will move, you keep your feet dead still, you ain't stalling, okay? And if you do, so what? You're learning a new skill. You know, it's not like you're going to be in the middle of a dual carriageway, the M25 or something, so don't worry about those things, because the more you worry about those things, the more likely they are to happen, to be honest with you. So try not to worry about those things, and if they do, just give your instructor a slap, because it's his fault, alright? Don't tell them I said that though, don't let them watch this section, don't, no. Right, okay, so I'm going to now talk you through that, okay? Your instructor will go through the controls with you, and there's a controls lesson here that you can have a look at, or will be appearing very soon, as this is a work in progress. So, put the clutch all the way down. Must go all the way down, otherwise you can hear some really crunchy noises and you'll see your instructor go, because he's ruined his gearbox. So make sure the clutch is all the way down, okay? First gear, normally on most cars, unless it's a Ferrari, which is unlikely will be, push it across and up into first. Make sure you can feel it go right across, it'll be first gear. Remember, it is important to get first, because if you get third, you could stall as you pull away. And again, as I said earlier, not a problem, but not good for the confidence. So you're better off getting first. You know, if it's steep downhill, it could be different, but we'll talk about downhill starts and uphill starts on a different video. Okay. Now we're going to set the gas. So listen carefully here. Hear that slight tone? I'm taking the revs on the rev counter from 900 to 1,000 revs, and your instructor can talk you through that. So just a little bit more than what we call tick over. The car ticks over just a bit more. You know, 100 revs more, 10% more, just to know we've pressed it really. Now we'll bring the clutch up. I bring it up in very small amounts till you find that biting point. You've got several biting points, well, 2 biting points. You've got a biting point you can just feel, just those plates are touching. That's your standstill biting point. So I'll do it. I'm going to get my sander, put the handbrake down, car doesn't move. See? That's the standstill. Ideally, if you're pulling away at an angle, and have a look at that video, you want to just stand still for a second. Here you can have driving biting point, which means it's just pulling slightly. Did you see that? I just lifted slightly, the bonnet lifted slightly. If you look at the big screen, that's about right, because the car will move slowly. I'll use that one in a moment. If I bring it too high like that, it's fighting. You can feel that, hear that? It's like a dog off a lead. If I put the handbrake down now, I'm zoov. You haven't steered yet. Oh my lordy, end up on the pavement. So don't want that too high. And again, your instructor should say to you, well, just dip it down the width of a coin there, Fred. Thickness of a coin even. If he doesn't, then it's their fault. But you don't want that creaking, groaning noise. One, handbrakes are difficult to get down. You said something else. And 2, it is going to shoot away. And your hand's down here, your hand's not up here. And then you won't have control because you've only got one hand on the wheel. So don't want no biting point, because you look around and you won't move, and you'll have to look again because someone could cycle off that driveway behind me and they're there. So the timing's important. But you don't want too high because you go shooting away. So that's what we call driving by. Just feel it pulling slightly. Difficult to show on a video, but it's just pulling slightly. So that's just okay. That's not okay, and that's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so that's right, I've got it now, I'm prepared eventually. Okay, now I'm going to observe. I'm going to look through all panes of glass here. You don't always have to. You do have to check all 3 mirrors in your blind spot, but we're going to here because the environment you're going to be in, probably like here, I've got driveways and things, so I'm going to look. So I'm going to check my mirror, nothing going on. If there was loads of cars coming past, I wouldn't bother. I'd wait until they've gone or just about to go, then I'd start looking. Otherwise, there's no point. I'm going to look over my shoulder now just to see anyone in these driveways here, over there, around here, around there. Hey, driveways looking for cars, people in, not cars in cars, people in cars even. I know what I was talking about. All the way around, now my blind spot. There's a car there in that driveway, which I can only see through my headrest and door pillar. See how much I'm looking around, it's so important that. Right, that took a while, so I'm going to now do it with the time you should do, but I'm really looking, all these cars, looking for reverse lights and people and things. So now I'm looking around, that's it. And now I'm handbrake down as head comes forward, car starts to move, hand on wheel, check the mirror, just steer out, just literally 5 minutes, you can't see that, but literally 5 minutes. Steer back to straight, and then straighten up. And then I'll carry on as normal. That's moving away. So I'm just going to pull over here, do a separate video on pulling away, and pulling up even. So the main things are there, the preparation of the car, making sure the clutch isn't too high, a little bit of gas just to make sure I've got enough to pull away. Observation, all 6 panes of glass, if there's something on your left. If there's a great big wall or something, you don't have to look over your left hand shoulder, but you must always check the mirror for anyone coming, sneaking past you there. And then moving is basically, as your head comes forward, your handbrake goes down, the car can start to move forward at that point, it's fine, hand on wheel and then steer. If I was going to steer straight away, so the car in front of me, then I wouldn't have driving biting point, I'd have a static biting point. So as my hand comes off the handbrake, once it's down, hand goes on wheel, clutch comes up, then I move so I'm ready to steer. But there's another video on that. Okay, thank you.